going on, guys? Modern Vintage Collector. I'm just going to make a short video. It's a little off topic from sports cards, but it still is somewhat affiliated. But sports photography. Now, one of the things that I love most about sports is the photography, especially the Charles Common era stuff. I remember, I think I was about 10 or 11, and my grandmother got me that Charles Common collection. Man, that thing was awesome. And then I remember they came out a few years later, and they had Series 2, and then they had the colorized version. So I've always had an affinity for that old photography, and especially the stories on the back. I mean, stories of guys like what's his name, Bruce Campbell, overcoming spinal meningitis to still be a fantastic player. If you never looked at this set, I highly recommend it. I mean, you can still get the entire set for like $15 on eBay. Mine got destroyed in a move, so I need to go ahead and go get another one. But nonetheless, the topic of this one is this Honus Wagner picture behind me, which, aside from his portrait from the T206, which, you know, for a long time was the most valuable card in the world, that's probably the most iconic image. And I don't know what it was about this picture that appealed to me, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Probably second to the Ty Cobb that's right above it. But what's interesting about this picture, and what I read it in a book by a guy named Richard Back, who in this part of the Ty Cobb book was kind of comparing Ty Cobb and Honus Wagner, and, you know, their split-handed grip and their superstitions, and he said they were both bigots. I'm still kind of torn on that. I've seen enough evidence to suggest that Ty Cobb was not a bigot. He was actually one of the biggest proponents of in the integration of baseball, and actually threw out the inaugural first pitch at many a Negro League games. But in this particular image, he actually kind of gives a little bit of a backstory, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And you can see he's kind of taken a rather unassuming kneeling position over his bats. He was real particular about his bats. They had to be Hillerich and Company, or the Louisville Slugger, or was it Hillerich and Sons? Yeah. And it had to be at least 40 ounces, which is unheard of in today's game. But he also had a superstition about his bats, and he could not have them photographed. So if he'd known this guy was about to take his picture with his bats, he probably wouldn't have let it happen. So upon hearing the, I guess, the breaking sound of glass, you know, when they used to take the old photos with the little thing, he looked at the guy that took his picture and then proceeded to take all of his, now in his mind, useless bats, because if they took a photo of his bats, now they lost their hitting power in his mind. So he proceeded to take the bats and throw them at the photographer. But I thought that was a little funny story. I mean, I don't know if you guys are interested in this sort of thing, but I was thinking about maybe doing a little research on some of these old photos and finding the backstory, because even the Ty Cobb one above that has a bit of a story. He was accused of some things in that photo, which the third baseman and the photographer, who happened to be the third baseman's friend, ended up discounting later on. But that fact didn't make it into a lot of the history books, because it didn't meet the narrative that a lot of people were telling about him for the longest time. So, you know, if you're interested in these sorts of things, let me know down in the comments, and if I get enough responses, I'll probably try to make it a priority. If not, I'll probably just make a couple more to see how it goes. But I thank everybody for your support. Thank everybody for watching. Have a good night.